Welcome to the MedDRA Learning Management System orientation. During this orientation, we will review what our LMS offers, how to create an account, and how to navigate within the platform. My name is Sarah Clark. I am one of the LMS administrators, and today I am joined with two of my colleagues, Yoshimi and Anna. Anna?
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Zhao Wang. I'm the Deputy Director of the MedDRA MSSO. But today, I am Sarah's assistant to share PowerPoint slides and MedDRA LMS website as Sarah explains how things work. Welcome to the MedDRA LMS orientation webinar. Yoshimi?
Hello, my name is Yoshimi Yamakawa, and I am also a MedDRA LMS administrator. Today, I will facilitate and address any questions, and it's great to have you all with us.
Thank you both. Okay, so let's get started. First, Yoshimi, will you review how to ask any questions?
Yes. So should you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to click on the Questions pane from the control panel and submit your question. And to get to the Questions pane, you will find the control panel that looks like this little vertical bar. You'll click on the arrow pointing left to expand, and you can undock the Questions pane by pressing the icon in the right. Once undocked, the Questions pane can be expanded by either grabbing the sides of the window or the dotted line toward the bottom. If you've joined via the web version or on mobile, you can look for the question mark bubble as shown in these two screenshots at the bottom. And please feel free to enter in your questions as you go. We will take some time at the end to go over all of the questions. Back to you, Sarah.
Perfect. Okay, thanks so much. So this and also the next slide are the standard slides about MedDRA, ICH, and the ICH disclaimer and copyright statement. MedDRA is owned by the ICH. MSSO's maintenance and services activities are overseen by the ICH MedDRA Management Committee. So please read through the ICH disclaimer and copyright statement carefully if you do plan to use the MSSO slides that are in this presentation. So, our MedDRA Learning Management System is designed to host MedDRA e-learning videos. Within the MedDRA LMS, a user can earn a certificate of completion, they can get some MedDRA refresher training, or deepen their understanding of coding-specific topics. Let's first begin with creating an account in the LMS. So to do that, you will direct your browser to the link that's on the screen. Please note that all of the information that's in this webinar is found here in the MedDRA LMS guide that's pointed by the red arrow. The LMS guide can also be found after logging in to the Learning Management System. We will review the guide within the platform later on in this webinar. But in order to proceed with creating an account, you are going to click on the login that's in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and then select Create New Account. So now we're going to switch from the PowerPoint presentation to the actual LMS website so we can walk through this. So once you've clicked Login and Create New Account, you are going to have to enter in all of your pertinent information. The first one is your first name, and then your last name. And that will be displayed in your completion certificate. Then you're going to scroll down to the login credentials. Here you will create your username. It must be 3 or more characters. And then you will create your LMS password. Each password must be at least 8 or more characters, at least 1 digit, 1 capital letter, and 1 of those special characters. That username and the LMS password will be used when you log into the LMS in the future. Next, as we scroll down, you're going to see the MedDRA ID. Here you will type in your organization's MedDRA ID. This is also the same one that you use when you're logging into that web-based browser. If you don't have a MedDRA ID, please contact your organization's MedDRA contact or the MSSO help desk at mssohelp@meddra.org. So once you've entered that in, you are going to next select your country. You can choose your country from the drop-down list. And then we'll need to gather your API key. So in order to get your API key, you're going to click on that hyperlinked word that says here, and then you will be directed to this other screen. On this screen, you're going to type in that same MedDRA ID that you did earlier, and then you're also going to enter in your organization's MedDRA password and click Login. When you do that, it'll generate an API key. And then now that you have that API key, you're just going to highlight it and copy it. Then you're going to navigate back to the account creation screen and then copy and paste it into the API key field. Your organization's MedDRA ID and API key information are used just to verify your MedDRA subscription status because the MedDRA LMS is for subscribers only. In the MedDRA LMS, there is also no limit on the number of accounts per organization. So now that you have all that information in there, you're going to then scroll down to the email section. Please type in your email address. We also recommend that you use your work email address if possible. You will receive email notifications from the MedDRA LMS to this email account. And after you've re-entered your email address and confirm it, then that submit button will become enabled. You can simply click submit, and then from there you can answer any of the CAPTCHA questions and click verify. And then that's it. Your account has now been created. If you do have any problems or trouble with the CAPTCHA, which prevents the submit button from being enabled, feel free to take a screenshot with the information that you've entered and then send it to the MSSO help desk at mssohelp@meddra.org, and we will be happy to complete your account creation for you. All right, so we've created an account, and then once you are in the LMS, this is what you will see. This is the dashboard. You will notice that we have a left-hand menu, and we're going to navigate through that one by one. So let's get started with the catalog, because the catalog is where you will enroll into the different modules or the different tracks that you want to take. And there are several different ways to get to the catalog. You can access it from the left-hand side, in the middle of your screen, or a little bit down farther where it says catalog. And please note, right now, only English modules are available, but other non-English modules will be available in the future. So we're going to select catalog, and then we're going to click on English. And here you will notice that we have a certificate track and a non-certificate track, and we also have Meet Your Instructors. But I just want to take a moment to point out the differences between the two tracks. In the certificate tracks, there are subtracks with increasing difficulty levels. Within these subtracks, users are required to complete all required modules, including quizzes. There are unlimited tries on quiz questions. But users may not skip any slides because each slide is essentially locked until the slide is viewed. And then after completion, the user will receive a certificate of completion. Whereas in the non-certificate track, there are no subtracks. The user may select any module. Those quizzes are not required. The slides are not locked. So users, they can skip from slide to slide within the module, and each track, it just focuses on a particular section that they might be interested in. We use it more as like a refresher training. So now if we go back one more, you'll also see that we have the Meet Your Instructors, and then back even a separate level, we have the ICH copyright information. We will touch on each of these tiles, but we're going to get started first with a certificate track. So we're going to click on English, and now we have the certificate track. If you click on that, then in the certificate track, we have 3 levels of learning. We have the introduction of MedDRA, And you have basic coding and then advanced coding. Each will show a different description of what is encompassed. So for this example, let's click on advanced coding track. When you click on it, you will notice that there are 4 modules. We have special situations, product-related topics, pregnancy, and interactive MedDRA coding. So to enroll, I'm going to scroll over to the top, right part of my screen, and I'm going to click on that enroll button. And now I'm enrolled. You will also notice that I also get a notification upon enrollment. That pops up. And then I'm able to begin whichever one I want. So I have 4 modules to choose from. For this one, I'm going to choose product-related topics. I can click on Start and then start the module. And here I'm able to begin the module. And if I need to, I can pause at any time. I could always close out of the LMS and return back at any time. And the LMS will always remember where I was at. But please notice that you'll see over here, all the slides are locked until I've completed each of them. So I can go through, complete my learning, or pause whenever I need to. And then how I exit out is over on the right-hand side, you can either click on Continue or Close button in that upper right-hand corner and exit out. And now I'm brought back to this screen where if I wanted to, I can resume the activity whenever I'm ready. So now over on the left-hand side, I call it a hamburger menu. It's those 3 lines that are over there. So it's a hamburger menu symbol over there that will always bring you back to the home, and then I can click on dashboard and I'm back to where I originally started. Okay, so let's click on a catalog button again, and then English. And this time I'm going to go to the non-certificate track. So for this example, I also remember, like in our non-certificate track modules, they're more that refresher training, so I can select any one that I want. But for this example, I'm going to click on pregnancy. And then after reading all these instructions, and I see what's in there, and I can see all the modules and all the different units, I'm going to say, yes, I'm ready to enroll. So I'm going to go over and click on that enroll button. And you'll notice that it says I have 60 days to complete the module. Perfect. And I will click begin, and I'm ready to get started.
Sorry, Sarah, let me pause for a second. Somebody is asking if we can make the web visuals a little bit bigger. So Anna, were you able to zoom in? So I would try Control scroll forward.
Control I, right? I don't think so.
How about the 3 dots to the right? There should be a zoom setting.
This one?
Yeah, so you can zoom in right there where it says 67%.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Does that make it better?
I hope that's better. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, and then I can click on Start when I'm ready to begin the pregnancy module. Within this module, you will notice that I'm able to navigate through. Oh, I click on Start Module. Perfect. Now I'm loading. It's loading. And then when it loads, you'll notice that none of my tracks or slides are locked. All this information will be the same as what's in the certificate track. However, I'm able to navigate at my convenience. So I could click on Unit 1, or if I'm more into exposures during pregnancy and breastfeeding, okay, I can click on that. I can click through and dial straight into the information that I need a little bit more refresher training on. So once I've gotten that done, I can go over to the right-hand side again, and I can click on that Continue button in the right-hand corner, and I will exit the module. I'm brought back to the same screen where I could always resume activity when I'm ready, but I am not going to do that right now. Instead, I'm going to go back up to that left-hand menu where that's the 3 little bars. I call it the hamburger menu. And this time I'm going to click on Catalog. And then I'm going to click on English. And this time I'm going to click on Meet Your Instructors. When I do that, you will then end up seeing that these are English-speaking instructors. You would be able to hear the English trainer's self-introduction by clicking on that little play button towards the right of their photo, and you can read about them. But now I'm going to go back and click on Catalog again over on my left-hand menu. Yep. And this time I'm going to click on the ICH and copyright information. I'm able to click on that and view that information in more detail. All right, so we've conquered the catalog. Next, let's just see what we've enrolled in. We can do that by hovering over enrollments on my left-hand menu, and you can see the track and then the module that we've actually enrolled in. So that way you could click on them and go back to continue your learning at any time. And then I would just click on Start, and then I could resume my activity if I needed to. All right, so let's continue on with our left-hand menu. I'm going to scroll down to my LMS guide. If I click on that, you will notice in the last slide of this guide, you're going to see a glossary, and that will help explain all the different symbols that are used in the MedDRA LMS. So if you want to refer back to it at a later time, you're more than welcome to, and just navigate through the glossary. All right, next on my left-hand menu is a link to the MSSO training schedule. If I click on that, it will take me to the MedDRA website, and I would do this if I would like to attend a webinar or a face-to-face training, and then I can navigate through the schedule and figure out what works for my schedule and sign up for another training. All right, then I'm going to go back to our LMS, and I will scroll down a little bit further where I can see the Help button. So if I have any questions or I need some help, I simply click on it, and it'll bring me to the MedDRA website again. And here I can enter my questions into the contact form and then send it to the MSSO help desk. You also might be able to chat with an MSSO help desk representative through the help desk live chat window. All right, and finally, back to the LMS are the privacy statements from the MSSO and from Cipher. Cipher is the vendor that we use for this LMS platform. So you can click on those and read through those at your convenience if you choose to. All right, we have completed the entire left-hand side of the menu. So that's fantastic. Now we're going to scroll up into the right-hand corner and click on My Profile. Within this screen, you can see what I'm enrolled in. You're able to click on that Edit button that's over on the right-hand side, and another window will pop up, and you could edit your password if you need to. And you can close out of that. Always remember that that hamburger menu that I talk about, which are those 3 lines over on the left, are always there to bring you back to where we originally began. So there's that. But now I'm in my profile, and I want to show you what it looks like if I were to complete a track or a module. So over on that left-hand menu, I can click on Awards, and I can view my awards. Here you will see that I have a well done badge. This badge is applicable for all of our non-certificate track modules. And then I've also completed a certificate track. So if I click on that little PDF icon, it will populate my certificate of completion. I'm able to then print it out or save a copy and email it or do whatever I need to with that, but there's my certificate of completion. All right, then if we go back to the LMS, I think we've pretty much covered it all. This should conclude the MedDRA Learning Management System orientation. Anna, if you wouldn't mind going back to the slide number 3 from our PowerPoint presentation, and then I can check in with Yoshimi to see if we have any questions.
Okay, thank you. I think, so let's review the questions that I've answered already. Let's start there. So here's one. How do we find the slides and download them? And our answer is, the presentation recording will be made available in a couple days on MedDRA.org on the training materials page under the tools section. So since today's presentation was a live demo, we have no PowerPoint slides that we are sharing. Next question. Is it mandatory to fill out the API key? Yes, the API key is required for creating the account with the MedDRA LMS. Along those lines, we have a question. Do I need the API key every time I log in? And the answer to that, oh, go ahead.
No, that's great. I was thinking, that's good. I should have mentioned that. No, you don't. So when you are creating that user ID and password, that's all you're going to need to gain access again to the LMS. Once you've put in your MedDRA ID the first time and that API key, the system stores it. And so it's a one-time deal that you have to do that.
Yes, and along those lines, the LMS also can retain your credentials so you can stay logged in your browser. Okay, another question. Can I get a certificate for today's webinar? And that is yes, a certificate will be generated for today's webinar. Please be sure you're attending with your unique name and email to be eligible for the certificate.
Yoshimi, I just want to add one more thing to an earlier question asking about the PowerPoint slides. Everything that we presented here is also included in this LMS guide. And as we showed earlier, there are a series of PowerPoint slides. So if you wanted to go back and reference it, you can go back to look at these slides. And we pretty much just demonstrated all the points in these slides. And also the recording, like Yoshimi mentioned, will be available on YouTube at MedDRA.org website if you'd like to watch the recording of this webinar.
Yes, and this LMS guide is accessible without being logged in. So even before you create your account, you can look at this and learn more.
That's correct. Just right here, before you log in, there's a MedDRA LMS guide.
Okay. So here is an interesting question. Is the LMS a substitute of the periodic MedDRA webinars? Who would like to answer that?
I can give a try. It's not a substitute of our webinars or face-to-face classes. The MSSO will continue to provide those services. LMS is an addition. We wanted to offer our user community an e-learning opportunity for people who have different learning preferences. Some people like to have face-to-face interaction. They learn better when they're with an instructor. They can talk to their fellow attendees, have a direct dialogue with their instructor. Some people like to learn on their own. They're quiet people. They want to take their time and they want to be self-taught. And that's what we're trying to offer to give people another opportunity to learn. And it's very convenient. You don't have to travel. And there's no time limit. Like Sarah said, you can start a module and you can be interrupted by work, whatever it is, and then you can come back and resume it. And if you're nocturnal, you can watch the video at midnight and it won't bother anyone. So it's an addition, it's not substitute of others.
Right. We have another question along those lines. So is this going to replace the learning that's currently on the MSSO webpage? We can talk about that.
Yeah, that's a very good question. For those of you who are familiar with MedDRA.org, we have the same modules on MedDRA.org as well. But because we cannot provide any certificates on MedDRA.org, since MedDRA.org is not a learning management system, we will replace it in 6 months. We want to keep it parallel from January to July. We'll make it available both on LMS and MedDRA.org, give our users time to transition. In July this year, we will remove those modules from MedDRA.org.
Yeah, so those certificates, okay, so here's the question about, can I download them? Yes, from within the MedDRA LMS, you can get to your certificates and you can save the PDFs. So you can email them or share them however you need to. And they are going to remain within your account as long as the life of this website.
That's correct. So like Sarah demonstrated, under your profile, under award, the award button will show up as soon as you complete at least one track or one module. Then it will be all stored here. You can always come back and download.
So I guess this is also along these lines, a question of how do you deactivate a user account that's no longer associated with the subscribed account organization? You can put in a request through the help desk and we will deactivate that person. Should that person then join another organization and need access to this LMS again, we can also go in and change their API key and their MedDRA ID from our end.
Yeah, and to add that this needs to be done through a request through our MSSO help desk. So in other words, you need to submit or send an email to our help desk to request it.
Yeah. Is the API key unique to each person logging in, or the same is used for MedDRA ID for multiple users? Yeah. So that is all. They will be the same for the MedDRA ID for that organization. Your unique identifier is going to be your name and your email. Okay. Let me see. Is this LMS the same? Can I access this through my own internal LMS system? The answer is no. So if you have an LMS system that you're a part of for your organization, this LMS is standalone. And I've provided the link within the chat, but also you can get to it through the MedDRA.org website. It's its own URL, https medra.matrixlms.com. Okay. During these trainings, is there a quiz included in the slides to evaluate the knowledge? Yes, there are quizzes included in most, if not all, of these modules, and it's set up so that you have to answer correctly in order to advance. So the score is, when you're complete, then you have 100% completion for that module.
Yes, and to add one more thing is a user has unlimited number of tries. So
Yes.
you can try until you get it right and then move forward.
Will I get a survey after this webinar to share feedback? Yes.
Yes, you will get a survey link in your email after the webinar concludes. And then you'll just select other for the webinar. You can type in like LMS orientation. And this is Sarah speaking. You will not see my name, but you will see my colleague Anna's name as the instructor, and you would select that, or you can leave it blank.
Okay, so if we logged into the webinar using the link provided to us in our email, will that be sufficient to generate the certificate for today?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's see if we can answer. So what is the difference? I think you've already kind of covered it. The difference between the slides presented in the LMS and then the normal join-in MedDRA virtual webinars in terms of content.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same.
So normal join-in virtual webinars in terms of, I'm wondering if they're asking if what kind of coding we're covering. Is it different?
The difference between the webinars and the content
So
of the
the
LMS?
webinars and the LMS modules. I think that's
Okay. They're not exactly the same, just like for those of you who are experienced, who have experienced our face-to-face training and webinars, they're not completely the same. So our webinars offer a lot more topics than the face-to-face, one-day face-to-face coding class can offer. And similarly, on the LMS, there are a lot more topics that we can cover in LMS than we could have covered in the webinars. So there are overlaps. So for example, introduction to MedDRA, it's in face-to-face, it's in webinars, and it's in LMS. But each learning platform has its uniqueness.
So while you're on this page, Anna, I think we can show somebody is unclear on how to download these certificates. So for the LMS certificates, this page that you see, you can click on this PDF icon to download.
Yeah.
The certificates that are generated for today's webinar and other MedDRA webinars, those are accessed through the self-service application and not here.
Right. So self-service application need to be accessed through MedDRA.org website. On the upper right-hand corner, there's a self-service application. So you click on this little icon, and then you obtain your certificate here.
So I see a question about a limit for the number of accounts we can have for an organization and limit on this of the same MedDRA ID.
Sarah,
We actually, yeah, we do not have a limit. So you and all of your colleagues could join. There is no limit per organization. You will all put in the same MedDRA ID and the same API key, and then everyone can join. There is no limit.
Yes, and if you don't know your MedDRA password, you may have to get that from your point of contact.
or the MSSO help desk.
Yes. Okay, this is an interesting question. Can I get access to accounts of the staff that I manage to see what courses they have done?
Technically, yes. Yoshimi and myself will dive a little bit deeper into the reports and figure that out. But technically, yes, we could help work with you to see what your staff has accomplished.
We have a question about the updating of the slides. So are we going to be constantly updating the LMS content?
This is the overall answer is yes. The LMS courses or modules will be maintained, and our plan is to do it on an annual basis.
So, okay, yes, the current training on MSOSO website will only be accessible via the LMS. That is the plan. So currently they're both available, but after, and you said it was July 1st?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So after that, all of the content will only be available through LMS.
All of the MedDRA fundamentals.
Yes, we're leaving the how-to videos, yes.
Yes.
So just to explain that, let me bring up the website again. So this is our website. If you go to the training instructional videos, we have two sections or two sections of videos on this page. The top part is how to do things. For example, how do I submit a change request? How do I download MedDRA release? And how to submit an online MedDRA subscription. This section will stay. But the section below, which we put a note here, on 1st of July this year, these will be removed. And all of these these modules will only remain on the MedDRA LMS.
We have some questions about the time limit for enrollment and also account inactivity. So you want to expand on that, Sarah, please?
Sure. Once you enroll into the LMS, you will remain active as long as you're clicking and completing modules. If you are inactive within 30 days, then you will be archived. Your information will not be lost. So if that happens and you are archived and you come back, you know, when things settle down and it's a few months later, feel free to contact the help desk and we will reactivate you, and all of your previous information will be stored. So if you had gained a certificate or a badge for something, that will still be in there. Let's say you are active and you click on and you enroll into the pregnancy module, and then you take your information and then you're not active within that course. After 60 days, you'll be deactivated from that course. And it just helps us to keep things clean. You are more than welcome to re-enroll at any time, but it just, so you have 30 days to stay active within the system and then 60 days to complete a module.
A question, will I be able to change the language of the audio in the LMS?
No, currently we have all of English, and other non-English modules will be made available in the future and will be in that local language like Spanish or Russian or Chinese. We will have others that are going to be available. It's everything that we currently have on our website. That is what will end up being translated and put into the LMS.
Okay.
Yeah, so to add that, at the end, when we complete all the other languages, we'll have a total of 6 languages for all of our learning modules. That'll be English, Chinese, Spanish, Korean, Russian. I missed one.
German? No.
French.
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 Okay. Will the training at LMS help aid in studying for the MedDRA certified coding test? If so, is there a track that will be geared towards certified coding test prep?
I can give it a try. I think the user is asking about the certified MedDRA coder exam. The certified MedDRA coder exam is specifically testing users' knowledge about the MedDRA points to consider term selection document. So the learning management system, all the module, coding related modules that we have will help with with users' understanding of MedDRA term selection points to consider document. But the modules are not designed specifically for the purpose of passing that exam, if you know what I mean. So I would recommend that, for those of you who are interested in taking that exam, certainly use the modules as a tool to help you understand the PTC points that are addressed in these modules, but you also need to focus on learning those points that are not addressed in these modules. So have an in-depth study of the PTC MedDRA points to consider document is essential in passing the certified MedDRA coder exam.
Let's give people a couple more minutes to think. Did we already cover how long the certificates are valid for?
The certificates are valid for the life of this platform, so they're indefinite.
That's from our perspective. Your organization may have requirements like every so long, you may be required to take a refresher, get a new certificate.
Will you be giving this webinar again?
We don't currently have a plan for another session of this webinar, only because we have a recording, and we'll listen to the recording. If there's no issue at all, we'll post them on two places, MedDRA.org and on the MSSO YouTube channel. And for those of you who missed the session, or you think your colleagues may be interested in this session, they're very welcome to listen to the recorded webinar.
Okay.
Do we have any further questions?
Give people a couple more minutes. We're getting questions about registering for webinars. I'm not sure if you'd like to answer that now or if that's something outside of the scope of this.
What is?
I think people are asking if we are going to announce ahead of what will be posted for webinars, rather than them having to keep refresh the scheduling website.
We do send out a monthly training broadcast announcing what's coming up. So if you wanted to get this broadcast, you can, let me show you. When you bring your MedDRA.org website. So you can go to the contact page. And this one Sarah touched upon earlier. You see there's a check mark that add me to the MSSO email list. And you can ask to be added to our broadcast email mailing list. Then you will receive the monthly training broadcast email. So you don't have to visit our website so often.
Okay, I'm scrolling up and down, and I think we've addressed everything.
Perfect.
Just give a few more minutes for any last minute. How long after the session will the certificates be available?
About 2 business days. And also, if you encounter any issues after the webinar, please feel free to contact the MSSO Help Desk at mssohelp@meddra.org. Also, providing a screenshot of your issue is always encouraged. Just screenshot just helps us to diagnose and resolve the issue faster for you.
Yes. How quickly will the LMS certificates be available after I have completed a course?
Generally within moments. As soon as you hit complete, you will get a notification that pops up on your screen or over in your notification little bell off on your right-hand side. And it'll say that well done, you've completed it, and your badge will be available or your certificate will be available.
Yeah, that's probably 99% of the time. During our testing, we did have a rare situation that a certificate may be delayed by a day. So if you don't get it after a day, certainly contact us.
Okay, so I guess we'll close with, we'll review once more how to get to the certificates for today's session.
Anna, if you go back for today's session or within the LMS? I didn't know what certificate they were referring to.
Today's webinar, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then Anna can point to that.
That's the SSA, the self-service application. So when you click on that, there's a training menu. See, one of them is retrieve training certificates. So you just need to follow the steps and to get your certificate. Now, however, if this one does not work for you, always contact the MSSO Help Desk. We'll help you with that.
Yeah, so the certificates are not automatically sent to your email.
No.
Okay, if there are no further questions.
Perfect. No further questions. I just want to thank everyone very much for attending today's webinar. We wish you a good day ahead and goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.